In part 5, we're going to paint the fog bank, the ocean, and put more detail into the foreground grasses. Well, let's finish this area we were working on then. So I've put in the shadow side here. This I want to save some of this. Some of this could be under here for the light tops of the trees. There's also some more bushes in here that I'd like to define out, and I'd like to work this oak tree a bit. And we did also have to get in our fog layer. Let me just take and see what's on this brush. I have some white paint on my brush. I want to have that area really soft back there. It actually worked that I had enough on there to cover that. And I find that when we get close to the ocean, we get more of a turquoise kind of close to shore. You know what, I think, let me just see if I can finish this up so I can switch back to my big palette, because this I'm running out of room a lot to mix things on. So let's put some grass bases in here. Let's go back to our brown. I want to have the bases of the grass and just randomly put in some of this color, this shadow color. I know in the fall here we get these big ragweeds that are kind of reddish brown, really pretty, but nasty plants to dig out because they're long roots. So just want to mark our edge here, perhaps have these dark grasses, reddish brown grasses are going to be mixed in. So I'm just going to randomly place them around. We're going to fill all this in. You can fill all this in on your own with some random marks. It's kind of fun. And I want to go back with my green, my dark green, and just, whoops, that's really dark. Too dark, really, because it should be a little bit gray as I'm getting down. It's closer than that, but let's put some Indian yellow in that. It will lighten it, and maybe I'm going to put a little lemon in there too. If you get too green, you can always just add some red. Add some alizarin, that's kind of the complement, and that will gray your color out. I just got way too dark with that. For so far away. I can adjust it, not a problem. Back in. And I'm gonna make sure, I want my path kind of going down through here. So I want to indicate that perhaps very lightly with your brown, again with this same brown that we used for the path going down and around. Okay, back to this tree. I know I have some real dark green still mixed up here. On the shadow side, I'm just going to put that in. Underneath the bottoms of trees, when they're growing, they're dark further down. Well, I have all this sky color in. I can put some of this in the grasses in the foreground. When you look into the distance, grassy fields tend to just kind of blur. You don't see a lot of detail in them, but the ones that are up front, they do have detail. Let me just see if it's going to be too light. If I put it on the tops, it might work, but actually, thinking it's too light, so I'm just gonna scrape it to the side. Scrape. I can save it for later, but right now I want to get back to my greens. These are the yellows. So I'm using the side of my palette knife and I'm just moving all this paint away. Handy tool, it can clean up better on this one. I've kept better care of this one's my studio palette, so I've taken better care of it. So for cleanup, be sure you clean all your brushes really well, and before you have lunch, or at least get them in something, some solvent or something. And I use soy salt, which is a really nice product that a student told me about. Once I've cleaned them a bit in the Lemsol solvent, then I can go and use that. Okay, So I want to get back to this dark green. So I'm going to use red oxide, Viridian. That should be fresh paint. It just sat out yesterday, but I don't know. And a little bit of yellow. Let's put some yellow in it. Don't want it too dark green. Not Viridian's not very strong. You'll find different manufacturers really, the pigment strength really varies. And I find I really like Utrecht because I can kind of depend on it to be what I expect, very strong pigmented. Just gonna grab the Viridian from over there. All right, I'm gonna do what's called a drawdown with this green, so I get gradually lighter. And if I go too fast, it might have been too fast, I can go back and do a middle one. I want 3 values of green for this tree. So light, middle. And look how the red oxide, using red oxide in the mix makes for very grayed down green, a much more natural green than if I just used blue and yellow, because it has red in it already. I have a lot of oaks here where I live, so it's kind of a fun thing for me to just try to paint them. They have such interesting branching. And these are smaller plants in front of them, smaller bushes. And then there's also these reddish things, bushes that look kind of violet almost. And they're kind of grasses, I think. So they come up, pop up in the fall. Add a little white to that so it'll show up. Too close to the value. See if I can get back down to some sky holes here. So I'm lifting off with my stiff bristle flat. Kind of planning out where they're gonna be. And I think that tree needs to go a little taller. I guess it's doing okay. Can be a dark green. Let's see if that's the right color. Use the red oxide. I'm going to start it here, so I want the base to be wide. I want it leaning. Oaks are often multi-trunked too, and then we'll put a little bit more dark under here. Break it off from these foreground bushes. Okay. Let me just see if this is going to work. It's too light, not enough pigment in there. Yeah, that's better. You can go back and add your grasses. You can see how that's developing. Keep it loose and moving. Keep it loose and this is where you want your definition of the grasses as foreground. Keep this bottom. I want some overlap here too. Push that back. That probably needs to be more green than brown. this guy here. So you can, with oil, you can be constantly adjusting, correcting your values and your colors, paint over it. So we can use this blue that we use for the sky. What's that? Make them odd shaped, your windows. Take your time. If we want a turquoise, I can just take that blue I had in the sky. Let's see if that works. Not bright enough. Put Viridian in there. I stay away from the phthalos. They're so strong pigmented. I use them when I'm painting down in Big Sur where the ocean is really phthalo blue, but it takes a lot of white and other colors to get them more natural looking. Oh, my brush is probably a bit dirty too. So that takes care of there. And that one tree, go back to this one tree here. I think I'll make it kind of the in-between value. A bit of green. I know out in the landscape, that path did go right through the trees here, which kind of cool. I had a light spot for it going down here. Whoops, that might be too light. And then a little bit of brightness here. Yeah, gotta tone it down because I don't want to call your eye to it totally. So you have to take a look, step back, take a look. Does it make sense what you've created? Or have you know, does it not make sense? Is the shadow not in the right place? Or so if I can find some of that cloud color, I've kind of scraped it all off, but we need some windows here. You see where I did get back down here to the red oxide that was underneath. I can do a little bit of lines like that. So you're going to see that you see through those just very softly, gently. And those chisel tips are great. I'm going to try something, show you something I use. I have another tool I use a lot. That one's going to be white. For lifting, if I can find it here. Here it is. It's called a shaper. So it can lift off too. See it? And I'm wiping it. So I'm lifting, then I'm wiping. And I don't know if I'll keep that. I'm just trying to show you how this works here. We can do some of that over here. I don't really need to do that with the trio. What I was thinking is this needs to have more light on the side. But I can just go and add that on top of what I've already got there. So, you can see that I'm a little thin in places. That's where I'll go back in and put more paint, you know, especially in the foreground. Have my path here. Let me just stand back. I think I've probably done enough for you to be able to finish up your own paintings. That concludes the video. So thanks for watching. I hope you could paint along with me. And let me know if you have any questions. You can post them here and I'll answer you. And also subscribe to my channel if you'd like to be notified when more videos come available. Have a great day.